I always felt that, for instance, I won Best Score for Little Mermaid, which is a lovely, simple, very naive score, underscore that is. But I didn't even know what I was doing. It was my first time out.
And then you didn't win for Hunchback, which is so extraordinarily. I mean, that's the thing about awards.
Throughout the 90s, nobody won more Academy Awards than Alan Menken. His first two were for composing The Little Mermaid's musical score and co-writing the song Under the Sea with Howard Ashman. Sadly, Ashman was no longer with us when they won again for the titular song from Beauty and the Beast. Ashman's partner, Bill Lau, accepted the Oscar on his behalf with Menken, who won another that night for Beauty's score. The following year, Menken picked up another pair of Oscars for Aladdin's score and the Tim Rice collab, A Whole New World. Ironically, High Times, Hard Times from Newsies brought Menken and Jack Feldman the worst original song Razzie that same year. Menken would eventually accept the Razzie, which he has proudly displayed with his other awards.
I didn't know you won a Razzie. That's so cool.
It's up there.
Oh gosh.
It's up on the right.
Oh,
That's
the coolest of all.
Menken added 2 more Oscars to his trophy case for Pocahontas. By this point, Disney animated musicals were such a force that the music branch introduced 2 categories, Best Dramatic Score and Best Original Musical or Comedy Score, the latter of which went to Pocahontas. Menken and Stephen Schwartz also won Best Original Song for Colors of the Wind.
Because I don't tend to win awards. I mean, I know I've won a few, but I tend more frequently to lose awards than win them. So yeah, I was really surprised. I think what you're seeing is me looking at this quite incredulous. What?
Who are these idiots? They gave me an award? What?
This brought Menken's grand total to 8 Oscars, and it appeared an even 10 might be on the horizon. A year after Pocahontas, Menken and Schwartz joined forces again on another animated Disney musical, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Michael Eisner always had a major Jones basically to do a Hunchback, going all the way back to.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I know he loved the movie. And
in our early meetings with Jeffrey Katzenberg came in, he kind of rolled his eyes and said, "This is a Michael thing."
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, you were in the meeting.
Well, I guess I was dozing. Or
No, you were.
I was looking away somewhere.
Hunchback was based on Victor Hugo's immortal novel, taking Disney feature animation to some of the most mature places it'd ever visit. The production reunited Gary Trousdale and Kirk Wise, the directing duo who helped lead Beauty and the Beast to a Best Picture nomination. With Menken and Schwartz also behind the music, all signs suggested that Hunchback would be another Oscar player. The question was, which song would the Academy gravitate towards? Disney would campaign 4 songs from the film: The Bells of Notre Dame, Out There, God Help the Outcast, and Someday. In a Disney Adventures article, Menken was asked if he had a favorite song from the film. He said, "Someday is probably the most important. It never appears in the film in its entirety, but you'll hear a lot of references to it throughout the score." In another interview, Menken called The Bells of Notre Dame possibly the best opening number I've ever written for any project. In her New York Times review, Janet Moslin called God Help the Outcast a sure thing for next year's Oscar show. In any case, Hunchback was a shoo-in for at least one Best Original Song nomination, right? It didn't bode well when none of Hunchback's songs were nominated for the Golden Globe. Come Oscar nominations morning, Hunchback was nominated for Best Original Musical or Comedy Score. The bells didn't ring for Hunchback in Best Original Song, though. The Oscar that year went to You Must Love Me from Evita by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Menken's former collaborator, Tim Rice. For the first time during his partnership with Disney Animation, Menken had been excluded from the Best Original Song category. On the heels of such a hot streak, how could Hunchback possibly miss? Vote splitting could have been a factor. That didn't hurt Mermaid or Aladdin, which both got 2 songs nominated. Beauty and The Lion King, meanwhile, scored 3 song nominations. Hunchback hadn't earned the same levels of success as those Disney Renaissance hits, however. It shared more in common with Pocahontas, which championed Colors of the Wind as its Oscar contender before even hitting theaters. Hunchback lacked a signature song, making it harder for the music branch to gravitate towards one. Disney seemed uncertain which Hunchback song to give a boost. Bette Midler recorded a pop version of Outcast, but Someday also inspired a single from the R&B group All for One. On the US Billboard Hot 100, Someday peaked at number 30, lower than Disney's past 4 Oscar-winning songs. Outcast was written as a replacement for Someday, which was instead played over the credits. Gary Trousdale noted that Disney neglected to submit arguably the film's most popular number, Hellfire.
The song Hellfire is probably, I've heard it described as like one of the best Disney villain songs ever. Be that as it may, it's a really dark and freaky song, that it was like, it dealt with lust and violence and, and it was like kind of a scary song. People thought it was really intense. No matter how good they thought it was, they didn't think it was like, no, can't submit that.
While Hellfire would have been an unconventional Oscar nominee, it wasn't outside the realm of possibility. After all, Menken and Ashman's first Oscar nomination was for a villain song, Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, from Little Shop of Horrors. The reception to Hunchback as a whole didn't help its Oscar odds. In general, a Disney fatigue was starting to settle in, with The Lion King proving to be a tough act to top.
I knew we were in trouble when I went to a diner and I overheard a family at a booth in front of me saying, "Oh, have you seen? What did you talk about movies? Have you seen Hunchback? Oh, I saw the Beauty and I saw Aladdin, and I've seen so many of them, And I thought, oh, they're over it." So,
Hunchback wasn't an immediate crowd pleaser either. While the film grossed over $300 million worldwide and earned solid reviews, parents were taken aback by its adult tone. The misleading marketing emphasized the Festival of Fools and comedic gargoyles, omitting scenes where the villainous Judge Claude Frollo nearly drowns an infant Quasimodo, smells Esmeralda's hair, and plots to commit genocide. Fans of Hugo's novel had the opposite impression, arguing that the film wasn't serious enough. As dark as Hunchback could get, Disney needed to warrant a G rating. This meant that the church couldn't be demonized, none of our heroes could die in the end, and Jason Alexander needed to follow up every heavy-handed moment with a wisecrack. Co-screenwriter Tab Murphy described Hunchback as the most R-rated G you will ever see in your life.
And also the ad campaign didn't help.
Oh, you joined the party.
Joined the party.
Well, Hunchback is an interesting case because poor Disney they've never really figured out how to incorporate it into their brand. They very courageously, I think, during that period of time, tried to push the boundaries of what an animated feature was and what the audience for it was. And I think that sprang from the success of Beauty and the Beast with audiences beyond parents and children. And Disney started trying to push those boundaries. And then I think with Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is my favorite of, and I'm on record also as saying I think it's Alan's best score for an animated feature. And as you say, that's saying a lot. But I think with that, they have always had problems reconciling the adult nature of the story with what they consider to be their brand.
While Hunchback wasn't quick to win over mainstream audiences, literary purists, or Oscar voters, some felt that the film struck the ideal balance between Hugo's novel and the Disney brand. In a 4-star review, Roger Ebert called Hunchback the best Disney animated feature since Beauty and the Beast, and a high point in the renaissance of Disney animation.
This is first rate. This is one of the best films of the year. It's really good.
Well, I think they did a very good job. And
in recent years, more and more people have come to agree with Ebert, often citing Hunchback as one of the most underrated Disney animated features. One of the reasons it maintains that status is because Disney seems hesitant to acknowledge its existence. Yeah, Quasimodo was in Once Upon a Studio, but so was every other Disney character other than the Song of the South gang. In an age where Disney is remaking animated classics that are barely a decade old, Hunchback apparently isn't on the spreadsheet. As much as I love the 1996 animated film, Hunchback is ironically one Disney movie that could work as a live-action remake, especially if it draws from the stage version. Menken and Schwartz eventually got to go all the way with Hunchback's dark themes in this stage musical, including the grim ending for its heroes. Like Julie Taymor's Lion King, the Hunchback stage show captured the animated film's beauty while being its own entity. Since Disney never even brought Hunchback to Broadway, though, it's unlikely we'll ever see a film version. As beautiful as Hunchback is, it remains something of an ugly duckling, which I guess might be fitting given the film's narrative. Quasimodo doesn't turn handsome or get the girl like the Beast, but he is embraced by the crowd in the end. Many have come to embrace the film, which we can still call an Oscar nominee. Sadly, we can't call it an Oscar winner. Menken and Schwartz's score lost to Rachel Portman for Emma. Menken's winning streak was officially over, and he hasn't accepted another Oscar since. That's not to say more nominations weren't in his future. Menken would be nominated again for Go the Distance from Hercules, and I See the Light from Tangled. Enchanted even brought him and Schwartz a trio of nominations, losing all three to Falling Slowly from Once. While Menken has yet to win another Oscar, he would win a Tony for the Broadway production of Newsies, and an Emmy for the song Waiting in the Wings from Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, achieving EGOT status. Schwartz is also doing pretty well for himself, winning another Oscar for When You Believe from The Prince of Egypt, and writing the music for a little musical called Wicked.
You know, I still really admire that team that was at Disney in those days for their courageousness and trying to push artistic boundaries. And, you know, I think the movie on its own has really stood the test of time very successfully. It remains a favorite of a lot of people's. And now the stage show really seems to have taken hold. So, despite their, I think despite the issues they have with figuring out how to market it and how to put it into their brand, from an artistic point of view, I think we all feel pretty good about it.
Even if it marked the end of his winning streak, Menken considers Hunchback his best score. In 2011, Menken called the Hunchback loss disappointing, although he added, "I've won so many, it would be graceless to complain about losing."
At the end of the day, the awards that really matter is people, listening to and being deeply affected by what you write.
Yeah.
Turning 30 this year, The Hunchback of Notre Dame remains a personal favorite of mine for its epic scale, a darker tone that Disney wouldn't dare touch now, and, of course, a soundtrack that still gives me chills to this day. It may be too late to give the film an Oscar, but after 3 decades in its tower, Hunchback deserves one day out there.
I just think it's good that you weren't up against It's Hard Out There for a Pimp. That's all, because
Okay.
what can I say?
Okay. All right.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. A huge thank you to Alan Menken, Stephen Schwartz, and Gary Trousdale for taking the time to speak with me. I originally interviewed all 3 for my books Bright and Shiny, A History of Animation at Award Shows, Volumes 1 through 3. All 3 available now wherever books and ebooks are sold. To learn more about my books, be sure to visit cartooncontender.com, your first destination for animation, awards, and everything in between.